My name is Linda Palmer. I've been a registered nurse for over 40 years, like Dominic has said, and I can really relate to boost your mood. There's so many reasons why people are depressed today, or sad, or frustrated, or not feeling well, or whatever, anxious, and we're going to talk about it tonight. And you can obliterate all of that and get rid of it. Does that sound good? Mm-hmm. And never have it come back again. And that's what we do here. So, what happened to me was in 2010, I was working for a home health agency. I've been a registered nurse for a long time, like I said. And I was working beaucoup hours. And I was out in the middle of the night putting catheters in people and working extended hours and always on call and having all kinds of fun. At that time, I thought it was fun. This is a lot more fun. And then I started, all of a sudden, my hair started falling out, and I started getting pale, and I started losing my eyebrows, and I knew something was up. So I decided that I would, being a nurse, a registered nurse, I figured, well, I'll just go see my physician, see what he has to say. So I had blood work done, and the blood work came back, and guess what it showed? Nothing. Nothing. Exactly. So I had all these tests run, and he said, there's nothing wrong with you, just go on vacation. Well, what's it going to do for my hair? What's it going to do for my eyebrows? Why? You think it's going to, it may help me not be so tired, but when you get back in the workforce again, the same thing's going to happen. So it didn't resolve anything. So at the time, Dr. Palmer, my daughter, was involved in nutrition response testing, and she said, let me check you out. So she checked me out, and she found out that the reason that I was having all these issues was that my thyroid was not working well. Now, I forgot to tell you something very important. Prior to 2010, my husband and I lived in Miami. We lived in Miami a very long time. I used to work at Jackson Memorial Hospital, which is the third largest hospital in the United States. And I had run a dermatology clinic. I had done a lot of things there. And some mornings, we would take the train to work. And they have a train elevated above the highway so that it doesn't interfere with all the traffic and helps cut down. So one morning I was up, in the train station, waiting for the train to come in, and I had the most horrible urge to run in front of the train. I was so depressed because I'd been working my butt off, and I was extremely tired, and I was, doing everything I could to be healthy that I knew at the time, and I just felt horrible. And not realizing what was going on, of course, I saw a doctor, and they give you pills. So then in order to have your blood level be acceptable, it doesn't help you until you're on these drugs for 3 weeks, supposedly. So I was on it for 3 weeks, and then it became years and years and years. And over that time, I was still feeling depressed and still wanting to jump in front of the train. So then I realized, so tonight we're talking about boost your mood, and that has to do with a lot of things that you're eating. It has to do with some deficiencies that you may have in your body. And it has a lot to do with a bow-shaped organ that sits in your neck right here. And what's that bow-shaped organ called? Absolutely, thyroid. And what does the thyroid do, guys? Do you know? The gatekeeper? Yeah, the gatekeeper for?
Stuff you put in your mouth.
Well, it has a lot to do with metabolism, right? So if your thyroid isn't working well, do you think that it would affect your metabolism?
Yes.
And if you can't digest your food, do you think that will affect your health?
Yes.
Absolutely. And what else does the thyroid do?
Regulates your body temperature.
Absolutely. It regulates your body temperature. People sometimes get, have to wear sweaters in the summertime. I've seen that happen. And then it's the reverse. People are cold all the time, or hot all the time. What else does the thyroid do?
Mood.
Absolutely. Mood. People think, sugar enters into that realm, which doesn't help the situation. But it also has to do with hormone levels. So if your hormone levels are where they need to be, then your mood is more stable. If it's not where it needs to be, then you can be up and down because of that. So thyroid function has to do with weight gain, weight loss, energy levels. So the more energy you have, the more likely your thyroid is working well. Hormone function, mood, and temperature control. So we talked all about that. So what do you think causes the thyroid to be stressed? How many people have a pool or access to a pool? Well, what kind of pool do you have?
An in-ground pool.
An in-ground pool. And how do you keep the water clean?
Chlorine.
Okay, and do you think that chlorine can have an effect on your thyroid?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because chlorine is on the same periodical chart level as iodine, so the thyroid goes, hey, this is iodine, I'm going to take it in.
Right.
It doesn't not realizing that it's chlorine, and then it screws the thyroid all up. So you can go into a pool that's salt water without the chlorine.
Right.
Anything that's chlorinated causes thyroid issues. Other things like food, like you mentioned sugar. Sugar does all kinds of things to your body. If you're a patient, you know 147 reasons why you shouldn't eat sugar, right? The other thing is grains, especially GMO, corn, soy, wheat. Those are the culprits because they've all been changed genetically, and that affects your genes, your genetic makeup as well. So the sugars, the white sugars, the cane sugars, powdered sugars, brown sugars, there's dextrose out there, there's fructose out there, there's sucralose out there, there's a whole list of names that I could give you for sugar. They're putting sugar in toothpaste. Why do we need sugar in toothpaste? Sugar is very addicting, and the more you eat it, the more you want. So they're trying to get you to get tasty toothpaste, so that's the only brand you want to use. Does anybody use Colgate?
Nope.
You might want to read the label because it's probably got sugar in it. Artificial sugars. Now, another soapbox of mine. Bear with me. Has anybody heard of aspartame?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how that all originated? Aspartame came about when the son Bush was in office, and Rumsfeld was working with him. Developed something for biochemical warfare. So for some reason, thank God, they didn't do that, but someone tasted it and found out it was sweet. And the label they put on it, this is neurotoxic material. So they couldn't use it for biochemical warfare, so they realized it was sweet, so they put a label on it and they sell it as aspartame. Wow. So you want to stay away from artificial sweeteners. They're worse than sugar. Soy. So how many people in this audience that are men want man boobs? Well, if you eat soy, that's what you're going to end up with. Because soy goes in the body and takes up the receptors for hormones, and you end up, because it mimics estrogen, it goes in the body, and you start developing man boobs. Wow. It's not good for men at all, nor is it good for women, because it messes up our hormone levels. Plastics. Plastic water bottles. So here we have all this water in plastic bottles, and everybody's drinking it out of plastic bottles, and we're taking in all these plastic issues, and it'll show up when we test you. It shows up as plastics and causes issues with the thyroid. So the best thing to do is take your own water, put it in a glass bottle or put it in a stainless steel bottle, and use that for your water. So you really need to get a filter for your water system, some sort that you can rely on that takes all this stuff out. Thyroid-related symptoms, you either get weight gain or you get weight loss, hair thinning, puffy eyes, face, hair growth on the face. You ever get a little hair here and I have that issue. I get a little hair coming out here and a little hair there, or you'll get, occasional hair on your chin or your face. That's all thyroid-related. Missed periods, scanty periods, heavy periods, that's all thyroid related. Infertility, do people realize that that's because your thyroid's not working well because you don't have enough hormones? Anxiety, panic attacks due to high stress levels. So those are all thyroid related symptoms. The thyroid is very sensitive to sugar and grains, but with, everybody's a little different. I mean, I can't eat any grains and I can't eat any sugar, but you may be able to do that and not have it affect your thyroid. Healthy thyroid tips: avoid sugars. So if you want, so it depends, it's all on grades, you know, like some people may be able to eat organic fruits, and that's okay. Some people cannot eat fruits at all, depending on how badly your thyroid is not functioning. Absolutely, you don't want any artificial sugars, and the more you can stay away from cane sugars, brown sugars, that type of thing, the better, because it suppresses the immune system. Yes. Xylitol is a better source of sugar. That's from the birch tree, and there's some benefits to eating xylitol. It helps prevent cavities in the mouth, and it's good for the gut. Make sure that it's only xylitol or nothing else. Avoid heating plastics, because then it's more prone to getting more plastics in the water. Avoid consuming GMO products. That's corn, soy, and wheat. The next thing we can do is nutrition response testing. And that identifies the reasons why that thyroid's not working well, because it can be a multitude of things. It could be one, it could be 5. It could be a lot of different things affecting that thyroid.